It's me, and I'm in Oslo. In fact, I'm at NDC Oslo, which is a huge developer conference in Oslo, one of my favorite developer conferences in the world. And I'm here to actually talk about Azure. I did one talk last night. I'm going to do another talk today that's not about Azure, but could be a little bit adjacent. But there's no news this week in Azure. I think they're waiting for Microsoft Ignite. We'll talk about that later. And I might give you an introduction to what is NDC Oslo. So welcome to the show. I'm Lars Clip. You're watching Azure This Week. So what's NDC? Well, it's a developer conference and there's 7 tracks, I think, 7 rooms at least. And it's one of my absolute favorite events in the world, mainly because, as you can tell, there's always food, people are eating, there's always something to do. And there's so many good speakers on it, so many on all sorts of development stuff. And I get to talk here too, which is quite a privilege. I've been doing this for a few years now, and I never get sick of this place. It's in the Oslo Spectrum, which is a stadium. So the talks are actually up there, up on the sides, where they've cordoned off with curtains and stuff, and you're standing on this platform that's out over the, like it's floating in space, kind of. It's weird, but fun. And there's about 2,500 people here. You get a pretty badge when you go in, of course, because it's a tech conference. And so much development stuff to learn. So it's everything to do with software development, including the talk that I'm doing today, which is about how to get a bit more out of your career and a bit more out of life and get off your backside and do the things you really care about. So that's my talk today. That's always a fun one. Hook people a bit more. But that's NDC. There's many of them around the world. Oslo is the first, it's the biggest, probably the best, I'd say. But it's it's a privilege to be back. I found Ken Smith, who is a developer for Microsoft, who does Azure things. So I was just going to ask, what's your favorite thing on Azure?
So my favorite thing in Azure these days is Azure DevOps, and particularly the pipelines in Azure DevOps.
Yep.
Which allow you to run.
I do love it. Yeah, I use those as well.
Yeah. So it allows you to run like on build. So when code is committed, it triggers some action in the cloud. And in particular, what I'm using it for is for my open source project called MethodScript.
MethodScript?
Yes.
Okay.
And what I'm doing is I'm deploying the documentation site, which is based on the latest build of MethodScript. So it's always, the documentation is always up to date.
Makes sense.
With the latest APIs.
Cool.
So.
All right. Excellent. Cloud happy. I know. I keep mentioning it on the show, but I think it's so important that we give everybody this opportunity. So at Pluralsight and ACG, we have 5 courses, cloud courses, that are free. There's AWS, Azure, and GCP foundational certifications, and then there's Terraform and Kubernetes as well. And they're all free. It's all part of Cloud Happy, and you can get certified as well. And you also get weekly study guides and lots of help and community and a Discord and just everything. So sign up today. I'd love to see you there. Come join us. Microsoft Ignite is coming up in a couple of weeks. It's not long. And if you want to join, it's free to register. There's a whole bunch of ways you can join: in person, online. It's something they call satellite locations around the world. So look it up on the official website, which is linked below. But I'm also going to do a talk. I'm doing a talk on 7 tips on building robust cloud applications, which is worth a watch. That's a shorter talk of about 20 minutes, but it's going to be on at Ignite. And it's just a great way to learn about all the new things that are coming out in Azure, which is also why there's probably no news this week, because they're holding everything back from Microsoft Ignite. But register today, it's free. All right, that's it for this time from Oslo. Not a lot of news this week from Azure, so we did it a little bit differently. Apologies for the sound quality, but that's what it is when you're at a conference. And I hope to see you next week, where it won't be me hosting, but someone else, which might be a nice change. All right, see you. Bye.